Chucky, Seed of Chucky, and Curse of Chucky. And now we have members of the cast from the whole series here. Please welcome them as they come into the auditorium. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
That's the panel.
And Garrett Graham.
That's what's up, man. A lot of people, man.
Let's see.
Do we have permission?
Oh, yeah. May we sit proud? Yeah. I'm like, what? That way? This way? That way. Fiona, nice to meet you.
So this is a very eclectic gathering of folks from the entire series here. So I want to go down and start right here. This is, how did Chucky come into your life, basically?
Well, I'm going to try to make a long story short. My father was a set dresser on Child's Play 3. Scared the crap out of me, ruined my childhood. I know all of you, it was the gem of your childhood, but scared me. Then years and years and years later, my agent got me an audition and actually did not tell me it was a Child's Play film. It was just this really great, I'm sorry. Am I not sounding okay in the microphone?
You're sounding
fine?
great.
Okay.
I am so smitten.
He's riveted. He's like on with it. It was just this great scene between Mika and Barb, and I was like, wow, this is like this really intense family feuding drama. I was really sinking my teeth in it. Went in, did the audition. They're like, yes, this is for the next Child's Play. Chucky got me in the end, you guys, right in the eyeball. That effort. That's my story. That's how I got involved. Chucky.
My dad is Chucky.
There's actually Don Mancini called me up and said, I've got this. I'm not allowed to tell this.
Oh, no, he's not. Oh, no, sorry, continue.
I'm terrified of her. Called me up and said, Brad, do you know anybody, an actress who's edgy? And I said, yeah. My daughter. He said, oh, well, that actually might not be a terrible idea. I said, she's an innovative, along with, she has my agent as well. And so they called her up and brought her in, and apparently I screwed her up so bad in her childhood. He took one look at her and said, you know, she looks like something like Chucky could have actually happened to her. So, it's not that bad. So he thought maybe she should do the lead. So that's how she,
Yay.
the real reason she did there. How I did it,
Yeah, let's talk about
how I got involved in it is, first of all, it was a very long time ago. I did Fatal Beauty, and Tom Holland directed it, so he called me up and asked me if I would do Chucky, and I said yes.
I auditioned my ass off to get. I like the part. I don't know. I was just like an actress in Hollywood. They look at your, what you've done before, and so you're up for things. And I walked in the room and just worked real hard because I thought, I like long, fat roles with lots of long monologues, and it was a good part. And so I fought hard for it, and I got it. And met Chris Sarandon, who I knew from Dog Days Afternoon. And Dog Day Afternoon, Sidney Lumet directed it. You gotta watch that, and please,
Oh, yeah.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. How many have seen that? best performance on film ever, in my opinion. So I just was excited to be part of, with such great actors. And we rehearsed all the human scenes in Chicago, like the mother and the cop, me and Chris Randon, and we blocked with Chucky, which was Brad Dourif. I'm looking at, my idol. And then I heard once we go to LA, we meet the doll. And I was sort of in denial, it was a horror film. I was like, the doll, do we really have to deal with that? But then we went to LA, and I'll just say briefly, I saw the maker of the doll, Kevin Yeager. I was like, oh my God. And like he'd put bite marks on my arms and I'd like faint. So we've been married 26 years.
It's kind of a family thing now when you think about it. I mean,
I auditioned in New York when I was a kid, so I was auditioning from when I was 5, all through till I was about 13. But I did some commercials and soap opera, and I got called for Child's Play, and I auditioned in New York twice. They flew me out to California to audition against 2 other kids. And and my mother was actually in the room for that audition, which even at 6 years old, she would wait outside. So she was in the room, and we did a different scene that we hadn't done before, and this was the scene where I had to say, Aunt Maggie was a real bitch and got what she deserved. And when we got to that line, I froze up because I didn't want to swear in front of my mother, so I pretended that I couldn't remember the lines. And we started over, and when we got to that line, I froze up again, and I got up and I ran out and I locked myself in the bathroom, and I was crying, and my mother came in to see what was wrong, and I said, I can't say that word in front of you. And so she went out and she told, the director, producer, whoever was there that, oh, he knows all the lines, he just didn't want to swear in front of me. And I had convinced them that I forgot the lines. So they said, well, this kid can act, he fooled all of us.
I was new to acting when I auditioned for it. I was probably, 21 or 22, and just starting out and didn't really know how to do anything except be myself. So, because I wasn't an actress, and so I went to the audition probably wearing bicycle shorts and black engineer boots and that black hat that I wore in the movie, that leather motorcycle hat. And I think I looked so much the character and so different from other girls that were reading for it that I think that's probably why I got it. And I wore a lot of my own clothes in it. Most of my jobs I wear my own clothes, but that was the truth in this one first. So.
Isn't she cool?
Totally cool. My story isn't very interesting. I auditioned. It was, as far as I'm concerned, it's just another job, except that this one had Jenny Agutter and Brad in the cast. I thought, well, gee whiz, I can hardly expect to do better than that. You'd like to bask in the reflected glory of people who are better known than you and better actors than you. I've been a big fan of Jenny's since Walkabout. Does anybody here know that?
Yes, the best.
And I had seen you, man, in, I'm not sure if you remember the details, but it's adapted from one of those Southern Gothic novels. Was it?
Wise Blood, where the blind don't see, the lame don't walk, and the dead stays there.
See, isn't he good? You can just...
When you got to the set, you had, or I had, a sense that I got into something that was a more serious concern than I thought it was. You get this sense of empire building going on around you. And I don't know, it was fun. I had a blast. Except that Brad and I were never on the set together, which was kind of disappointing. But you don't even remember me, do you, dude?
Well, unless you were in the recording studio where I recorded, I had no idea who you were and you weren't. I was Ronery.
So let's take a few questions from the audience here. Here on the end of the aisle right there, second row.
This is for Brad and Alex and Catherine. When you guys signed on to do this movie, did you ever think it would become the cult classic that it is today?
I didn't. Brad?
No.
It's a real stumper. Yeah. No, I was just happy to be in. I mean, it was my first feature film, so I was happy to do that.
I knew the producers at the time were quality, like Barry Osborne did Face Off and all these major, so it's like it was an A film that was horror, and the actors, like I said, were so quality, but I didn't think it'd breed other ones, although, yeah, I mean, when you have a horror creature, I should have known it tends to go on and on. There's sequels. And a funny story is like, Kevin, who knew the genre better because he did Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger and all that, he said there might be some sequels, Kath, and I think Chucky he could outlast you. And I said, really? So cut to Child's Play 2, I'm bringing his sack lunch to the set. Watching Christina Lee's, and I'm like, oh, hi everybody, your show still goes on. Where's Karen?
Actually, Catherine, I wanted to ask you a question about the scene. The movie, the first Child's Play, you really don't see Chucky at all. You just get the sense of him until he reveals himself to you in the living room scene.
Right.
And I was curious about how you worked with the doll to actually create a performance, and that had to be technically very challenging to pull that off. And I was just wondering what it was like to try, how long it took to actually film all that.
It was like a normal scene. I mean, you had to technically get the doll at the right angle and stuff. And I pretended that Chucky was a snake, you know, just to scare myself. And but you just work with the doll and act like, you know, you're just an actor, so you do what you have to do. But I was really excited when in the commissary, Kevin came up and thanked me for making the doll look good.
Any questions over here in the far back?
Collectively, between Chucky and HorrorHound, what was it really scared me the most? I can't even fathom why this movie the most. Collectively, what scared you guys the most? Aliens. I'm scared of aliens.
So you're talking about aliens?
No, I'm scared of Exorcist.
Anything with that?
I'm scared of humans. Personally, terrify me.
What scares you the most is the question. What scares you?
Serial killers.
Right.
You know, Silence of the Lambs to me changed the ball game, sort of. You know.
Yeah, for me, as far as like films go, because I'm not really the biggest horror fan, despite knowing everybody from every horror film from doing these shows for 15 years. For me, it's the stuff that could really happen. You know, like the movies that are maybe a little more suspenseful than gory, but it's about something that is possible.
Aliens.
Alien, yeah. I'm not denying that.
Zombie apocalypse. What are you scared of?
The Witch is scary. It's out recently.
The Witch was good. Yeah.
I think cults scare me, you know, religious zealots who go into elementary schools and do things that are hard. I'm sorry to bring I cast a pall on the ground with that one. Let's talk about dead. No, let's not. But, I mean, Chucky does the same thing, that little guy. But anyway, no, seriously, humans doing atrocious
Trump
things. Don't do
scares
it,
me.
guys. Don't do it. Trump? Is Trump? He said Trump.
That's about it.
You trumped me with that.
Next question, we have here in the front row, right here.
Yes, this is for all of you. I know this is not a horror question, but what's your favorite superhero? And if you wanted to do a movie, which one would you want to play?
Wonder Woman, period, end of story. I'm really pissed off at Gal Gadot. I like her, but she doesn't have blue eyes. She's not American. It's totally cool. I'm a little jealous. Wonder Woman, thank you.
I'm gonna shamelessly use this question to pitch the show that I'm on that is premiering on October 22nd. It's a comic book. It's based on a comic book by Douglas Adams. It's called Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency. I play a holistic assassin, starring Elijah Wood. And Max Landis wrote it, if you guys know who Max Landis is. It's really good, actually. I
What's
can't
it-
believe
what's
I
it
ended
on?
up on a good show. BBC America, and then Hulu, and then Netflix International. So watch it. I swear to God, it's good.
What she said.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I got nothing.
Come on, guys, I don't have those late Aquaman's coming out.
Wait a minute, what's the question? What
What
superhero?
superhero would you like to play?
Well, the superhero I would like to be hasn't been invented yet, so I'm going down here. I would like to be a studious academic who spends his days translating Chaucer and stuff like that, and when he transforms into his superhero getup, it's academic robes. You know? I take people down by throwing first editions of Homer at them. If anybody's got an idea to fill this out, I'm ready to work on it anytime.
Next question from the audience here. Oh, right here. You sir. Right here.
Oh, cool, me? All right, cool. Before I ask the question, you're in Parker Lewis Can't Lose, right?
Yeah.
Wow, that's really awesome. I went through that over the summer. Sorry about that. Cool. Brad, you're an icon of horror. You know what I'm saying? We really appreciate all your years of hard work. Can you talk about what went into your preparation on playing Charles Lee Ray, a la Chucky in the original movie?
Actually, of all the characters I've ever played, the only thing I did for that was I worked a little bit on a Chicago accent. But horror at that time is based on camp. It kind of started out with a whole series of movies that were very kind of campy. Trying to think of. I wish I would. No, way earlier than that. They were English, and they changed horror. So everything after that was, and I'll think of it eventually. Everything after that was kind of campy. So I had to keep Chucky a little bit campy, which meant I couldn't make him too real. He had to be a little bit lighter than life and a little bit fun. But at the same time, a monster who will turn a living, human, breathing person into a piece of meat. That had to be very real. But then there also had to be an aspect of camp. So I kind of let it go and have fun. Does that make any sense?
Absolutely. Thank you, sir.
Mic drop.
Over here, yes.
Oh, Dr. Fives.
Nice.
That was the movie.
Honorable Dr. Fives, yeah. I'm sorry? Is there can anyone say anything about a new Chucky movie coming?
She's the only one who knows anything about
I
that.
can't say anything. It is happening. We are shooting soon, and Don Mancini is taking it to a place that you haven't seen before. So.
Nice.
And I'm real excited.
Any other question right here in the front?
I can speak for Brad. So the Chucky character is yours. Okay, it's Don's works. You know, he created this character, but really, no one thinks of him when they think of this character. They think of you. So when they created this backstory now for Curse of Chucky, did you get any say on that and say this is?
No, I'm not a writer. I mean, that's Don Mancini's job to do what he wants to. Listen, I was teaching at Columbia University. I taught a course in directing actors, teaching directors how to direct actors. And Don Mancini was a student there, so we and he mentioned this whole idea. This has been really somewhere since he was very young, college, very close to his heart. So he knows it better than I. And to say, I mean, you know, you give an actor the idea that a doll can come to life, that you can possess a doll, and you're a serial killer. You know, that's enough. That's plenty to work with. You know, I mean, it's not his job to put things like, Chucky is terrified of oblivion into, Don doesn't have to think about that, it's my job. So the little things that personally mean something to me that I use are not his job to create, but everything else is all his. And I certainly don't take credit for the character of Chucky. That's really his.
Right here in the front, the Chucky shirt.
Oh, what's your favorite quotes from any of the Child's Play films?
Nice.
Favorite quote.
Fuck you. Do it for us, please.
Fuck you. Yeah, the elevator went down. I said, "Oh, wait a minute."
Nice.
I'm not gonna, should I do it? Women. It's horrible, guys, just hang with me. Women, you can't live with them, period.
I apologize. Excuse me, friend.
Alex, do you,
A lot of great improv.
Alex, do you have a favorite in particular?
I mean, the one that I said earlier. I mean, that was my only swear in the whole series, and there's a lot of swears in that movie. So, the Aunt Maggie's a real bitch and got what she deserved. It was fun. The most celebrated line of mine was, "This is the end, friend." Right? Like just as I light the fire. Yeah. And my memory of that is doing it many times. Tom Holland was very particular and had an exact thought in mind of how he wanted that particular line to be said. And when I got it, he like picked me up and threw me up in excitement. It was one of his happier moments on set.
Which one?
I have a question for the people on stage who died horribly in one of the movies. Could you talk about your death scene and what it was like to film?
Well, my mother was always really excited to see me on the big screen because of my blue eyes. Let's just start there. And so, you know, I let her know I'm in this little movie, this mega thing called Chucky, and I don't tell her about the moment. She sees me up there and she's just, you know, well, unfortunately didn't make the big screen, but she sees me on the TV, and she was just really happy, you know, with my babies working. And I've always been paranoid about my eyes being too closely inset together. That has been one of my personal, like, Achilles heels. So I thought perhaps Dawn had written that just to, like, I don't know, get a rise out of me or whatever. And then I've got this guy over here like, telling me my eyes are too close together and sticking a butcher knife in my eyeball. It was a fantastic process. We had to do it about 15 times because the puppet was not running naturally. He was kind of coming at me a little bit weird like this. So I had to stay terrified for, I don't know, close to an hour with the knife coming at me and being completely self-conscious of the fact that I have inset eyes. And then, you know, I get stabbed and then the eyeball rolls down the stairs and then he steps on it. So yeah, I guess it was kind of an iconic moment. I never thought that that would be my glory moment, but there it is.
Hey man, I didn't get to say what my favorite line was. How's it hanging, Phil?
Let's see, what about your death scene in the Child's Play 2? How was that to film?
Dude, I fucking killed him.
But he is dead.
I keep forgetting.
I mean, I figured you have to die. If you're going to do the movie, you have to die, right?
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Chucky's not dead, so we're all gonna die.
No, there's only two people who don't die. There's you, and then there's Chucky, who dies a million times and yet somehow is still not dead. But everybody else croaks pretty much, right? I just want to survive. That's right. You're.
There's a bunch of us that are still alive. I mean, really, it's like only her. And you. And that's it. That's the rest of us lived.
Well, I guess.
And I live forever because
Forever, yeah.
I can always come back, as I stated in one movie. But dying is a bitch.
In the red shirt right here.
Speaking of death scenes, throughout the first movie and what I've seen of the other movies, Chucky doesn't kill anybody by strangulation, which is his MO as the Lakeshore Strangler. So my question is to Brad, is Charles Lee Ray the actual Lakeshore Strangler, or was Detective Mike Norris after the wrong guy the entire time?
Phenomenal question.
He really thought about that one. Well, he does strangle in part 2, right? The guy in the car with the plastic bag. So that's technically strangulation.
He's got little tiny
Yeah, he's gotten a lot smaller. It's not the easiest thing to pull off when you're, 17 pounds.
So the question is, who am I really?
That's awesome. What has been your most, when you've seen the movies that you've been in with an audience, what has been the most memorable reaction you've seen an audience give to the films? And memories? No, just like if you were in the audience seeing the movie with an audience, do you remember any really memorable reactions from anyone in the crowd? Or?
That "fuck you" line in the elevator.
Yeah.
When the elevator goes up and Chuck goes "fuck you," the entire audience cracks up every time.
Well, I mean, there's been movies that I've done that aren't horror, where I guess I got more reactions than people bursting into tears and hugging me and that kind of thing. So those are bigger reactions, but here it's all about having fun. So.
Best reaction I've seen is this. The fact that this movie's been around for so long and you people are all sitting here right now is really awesome. I think that's cool.
Chucky fans are the best. You guys are the best.
I've tried to get John Mancini, and I know you did, to come here. He can't because he's working because he's getting the next movie ready.
Nice.
But I mean, frankly, all this is his fault. I mean, he's the guy that created this idea and this icon and so forth. And I think we should just give him a good round of applause.
Another time for back here, the Fright Night shirt there.
Was it something we said? Hello, goodbye.
This question's for Brad. In the past, we've had Freddy versus Jason. What horror icon from Chucky would have fucked with?
Who would you fight?
Pinhead.
He's cool with me.
Any other questions? Right here. Yeah.
This question's for Brad. So you've been playing this iconic role for so many years, Chucky. You are Chucky. And if they continue this franchise for years on, is there ever a moment where you feel like you don't want to do this anymore, that you want to retire from this role? Just like how Robert Englund retired from Freddy Krueger. And if so, is there any actor out there that you personally think could play this role?
Well, I'm not going to sit here and cast myself out. If they have to think of somebody, they're on their own. Chucky, I'm 66, so, and I'm taking my pension, and I moved out of LA, and I'm just living in my house, which I own outright, and so I don't have to work anymore. And so I'm not doing bad guys anymore. I mean, I'm just not, except for Chucky. And that's because everybody, it's literally family now. And I can't, you know, I love my family, and so I can't, you know, Don Mancini asked me to do it, how am I gonna say no? That answers that question, but I don't do bad guys anymore. I'm done with that.
You at the very end.
My question's for Brad. About the Chucky laugh, that's my favorite laugh in cinema history. How did that come about? Like, did you kind of create it yourself, and could you maybe do it for us?
Go ahead. Yeah.
That's optional, but.
Well, yeah, of course I created it. But I don't hopefully normally act like that. But rather than have me do that, yeah.
I'll do it.
Come on, that's ridiculous. I can't do it.
I'll do it.
No. Here's the deal. He does it once a year. My birthday is the day before Halloween, and so we have a Halloween birthday party, and then he would do the laugh. I'm absolutely not going to do it because I can't do it, but you can because you're Chucky.
Come on.
You're right.
Scares the shit out of me, you know?
It'd be hard to top that.
Yeah.
Right here.
I have a question for Alex. The last shot is child's play, and he's kind of looking back from the door and these frames. Do you have any insight on like what he was feeling like that point in his life?
Yeah, I mean, I love that the first film ended that way. It's, you know, it's a little different than being older and looking back at me as a kid, because like if I do any acting now, I'm very self-conscious about seeing myself on cameras. A lot of people are, so they don't watch themselves. But watching myself when I was 6 was easy. And that shot, I love the way that looked when I was walking out. And if I had to say what Andy was thinking, you know, especially leading into the fact that there was even 1 sequel, let alone 5 more, was doubt. You know, there's no way this doll is dead. There's no way that this nightmare is over. And I think that is the only thing he was thinking as he was walking out that tour.
In the very back, you.
Halloween is my favorite series of like all time, and so I was so happy that you were casted as Sheriff Brackett. And I just wanted to know how you emotionally prepared for Andy's death.
Next question. Over there.
Brad, is this your favorite thing you've ever filmed? Like, what is your favorite thing you ever filmed?
You know, you guys are
Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah, well, no, you guys would probably feel this way. You know, when you do a part, you kind of get involved. And even if it's bad, you say, oh my God, this is really, I need the money. And you get involved, and by the time you really learned all the lines and you're starting to really think about it, you've convinced yourself it's going to be great. And at that point, it's your favorite movie of all time. And this is where I don't see movies I'm in. And so it's, the truthful answer is whatever I'm working on. The best movie I've ever done is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. There's no question about that.
This is unrelated to Child's Play, but I gotta ask, Catherine, you worked both on screen and were directed by Leonard Nimoy in Star Trek 4. I just wanted to know, but now that he's passed away, what your memories of working with him were like.
Gentleman, one of us, an actor mostly, would sit on my trailer steps and talk about his disappointments at that time of being typecast as Spock on Broadway when he tried to do a play, and they would just say, they would just talk about, you know, he just was not a sad man, but just no artifice, just very honest, very deep, intellectual. You know, the whales were his idea as ecologically. He just a highly conscious, gentle soul. Yeah.
Spoke Yiddish
Yeah, I bet.
fluently. Yeah.
Next question? Right over here, yes, sir. Yes.
My question's for Catherine.
Yeah.
I'm just curious to know why you weren't in Child's Play 2, if that was your decision or if it was
Oh, no, it's as in Star Trek, you know, it's like, why aren't we going to be an item in the next one? I truly believe that, you know, each director, Shatner was going to direct the next one. Everyone, rarely do you see, you know, a character in the next film in such a big way, because I think the new writers and directors they just want to do something different, their own, you know, so the actor goes out with the dishwater. So I never expect to be in sequels.
Well, they brought Andy back, so I thought maybe that there was...
Well, yeah. And yeah, well...
Yeah, but
no, it just, I didn't expect it, so I don't know what that means.
if they brought both back, it would be the same movie. If they brought him back and somebody else, then it's a different movie.
Yeah, exactly, thank you.
You revealed yourself to him, so it has to be you.
Yeah, at the time, that was still a big part of the story, yeah.
Do you have time for a few more questions? Orange shirt.
This is for Catherine. I'm the Tucker's Witch Geek.
Oh, hi.
Did you get a sense of being a mom in this movie? Have any idea that when you went on to Seventh Heaven, you'd be a bigger mom and
Well, I'll tell you a funny story. I didn't have a kid till I was 40. I didn't care about kids. So, as I was in denial that this movie had a horror doll, I was also sort of in denial that I had a kid. So at the first table read of Child's Play 1 in Chicago, I looked over and it dawned on me, selfish, single, you know, actress, this kid has a lot of lines, so I got a little resentful. So much so that like the producers, they're all standing around going, the chemistry is like melting before them. We're just not, I'm not giving, I'm not, and they literally, at the end of the table read, throw Brad Dourif in with me and Andy, Alex, and like say, improv with them. Dude, what are you gonna do? The mom's gotta love the son. So I remember, Brad, I guess they knew you were an actor par excellence. I didn't know if you taught acting, but we're like, and his mom rushes in and go, give him this, it's his magic ball, you know, so everyone, and you know, we'd go out to McDonald's in Chicago and try to bond. Eventually, like in a few days, you know, I got to know him and we became close. So by the time they shot the first scene where he wakes me up in bed, we really had a relationship. But Mom's, yeah, Seventh Heaven. I wanted to go to night school. I'm like to the producers, can't she be a lawyer? Are you kidding me? But I don't know, like in real life, it's the neatest thing to do. So I'm a happy mom now.
She kind of brushed over it with this magic ball thing. It was like a little fake pearl thing that fell off of a necklace or something. I think someone found it on the floor in the bathroom or something. But yeah, she gave it to me and she said it was like magic. It was this little magic, and I was 6 years old. I didn't believe it was magic, but I thought that it was supposed to be a bond between us. And I knew that you hadn't played a mom in anything, and that it was new for you,
kids.
and it was new for me. But we did. By the time that we started actually shooting together, we were really close. She took the time to really get to know me, which was good for both of us in that.
It's strange, you were really believable as a mom. I mean, totally believable. And I know people actors with really good maternal instinct, actresses with really good instinct, and they don't come off as a mom.
It's funny, I can tell actresses now who play moms on TV and I go right away, they don't have a kid in real life.
Yeah, but I couldn't have with you.
Over here in the gray shirt.
I had a question actually for Fiona Moore. Brad, your resume is so wonderful, and Cuckoo's Nest is probably still my favorite one, but I also loved you as Luther Lee Boggs in X-Files. That was one of my favorite roles you did. Fiona, what is your favorite role that your father's done? If you had to pick one.
I can't. I have a hard time watching him die, and it's I don't want to say the same one, but I think it's probably Billy Bibbit. It's the only one where I can't see my father. And when I was in grade school, the girls used to tease me like, "I saw your dad's butt." Yeah, I can't watch I can't watch him die or have sex.
This is really getting too I don't blame you.
It's weird having all this, so much footage of your father. This world, right? I mean, it's weird.
I don't know where to go from here. Actually, I would like to just say, Brad, since I have you on stage, I'm going to have to do this. I just finished producing a Blu-ray of a film that I've loved for many, many years, and we're going to get to see some footage of you from your original performance as the Gemini Killer in The Exorcist 3, which was magnificent. And I just want to say that performance so thoroughly enthralled me when I was in the theater. I mean, there's just long takes of you just talking, and I was hanging on every single word. And I honestly feel if it wasn't horror wasn't kind of ghettoized, and it wasn't Exorcist 3, that you absolutely would have been up for an Oscar nomination that year for what you did. And I just wanted to say that.
He has a good story about that.
Okay. Well, William Peter Blatty, who directed it, loved these two monologues. There were two of them. I did the first one, and it flew, and it was fun. I did the second one, but by that point, he had so directed me line by line that I gave every single line kind of framed in gold, and they saw it, and it was so goddamn boring. I mean, it was completely unwatchable. And then they made me come in. I don't watch myself ever. And they made me watch it, which was one of the most horrible experiences I've ever had in my life. And so Blatty and I had the weekend, and we were cutting, and I was trying to get him to cut some. And I went through it, and George C. Scott came up to me and said, let this guy fuck you over, man. Just pick what's important and throw the rest away. And I went, duh. And of course that's what I did, and then it flew. I mean, that's what I'd forgotten to do. Then of course, they saw the thing. I got calls, said it's great, it's wonderful, and then I got sent into a meeting and they fired me.
What?
They said you're not in the film. They cut it and so forth. And then they were going to get Jason Miller to come back because somebody did a demographics thing and said you have to have a guy from the movie before or nobody will come. So they had Jason Miller do my stuff, but Jason Miller had been drinking far too much for far too long, and although he could act circles around anybody when he was okay, he was beyond that. So they took one look at what he'd done and went, why don't we get Brad back? So I had to go back and do the whole thing again, and that's that story.
It takes a lot of turns, doesn't it? I know.
I have time for two more questions. Right here, sir.
Hi, thank you. You know, I'm trying to figure out how to word this. With as many Chucky movies that have come out, I've noticed that there's been other movies in the horror genre where the protagonist has this like doll character. You know, we have things like the Zulu Warrior and the Trilogy of Terror thing with Karen Black and these other movies, but it seems like there's something special about the Chucky series. I'm wondering, the cast in general, what do you think that the appeal of Chucky as opposed to some of these other ones are? What do you think that is like the inner fear that maybe people have about characters like that? You know?
I would say the versatility of Don Mancini, because he was able to start with where horror was, and then when horror took a turn toward being self-referential, he really turned it around and did Bride of Chucky, came up with Bride of Chucky, which I thought was brilliant. And then when it changed again, he came up with Curse, and it really worked. And so I think that part of, certainly part of it was the way he adapts and how flexible and what a really good thinker and adaptable and good writer he is.
I also think Chucky's really fun, right? Yeah. You know, it's like you like him, little fucker. And that's partly my dad.
I think another part of it too, based on the original concept and how it played out, is that it wasn't just this doll that was on your shelf. He was your best friend. You know, and we really pushed you that he was the closest thing that you had as a child, and he turned on you. You know, that's a fear for anybody. Creepy. Yeah.
One more question here at the very end. Jason.
This is a question for the survivors. If what would your characters you think be doing now in modern day life?
Chucky? What would Chucky be doing? He'd be a lawyer.
I think I'm locked up, right? I'm in an insane asylum, yeah.
They sent you there too?
Yeah, that's right. Oh, that's so great.
You guys might run into each other.
Andy, how about you? What are you doing?
I had a shotgun in my hands last time, but I had not, you know, I took a pretty good shot at Chucky's face. Is the last thing where we left off. So.
Where's Christine?
I think she's in the same
Are you in
place as you guys.
too?
I have not officially.
Well, may I question Mancini's brilliance? Are we all just thrown in institutions?
Well, the story's not over yet, so.
Story's not over yet.
That's the idea for the next movie. Go to the institution where all of Chucky's survivors are sitting there being like, this fucking doll here.
It's easy, one location.
One location, yeah, one big room with a big rubber room with all the Chucky survivors. I do want to share one thing with everybody here. When I first saw the movie, the most memorable audience reaction I ever saw happen, there was a woman sitting 2 or 3 rows in front of me, and she wasn't buying the movie at all. Every time Chucky would do something, she would go, that doll's silly. Later on, no, that doll's corny. The electrocution scene came up, and Chucky electrocutes the guy, and then it got really quiet. She turned to her friend and very loudly, but whispered, went, "Damn, that doll's an asshole." And so it was remarkable to see someone who was a complete doubter from the beginning get completely turned around. But she was a believer, and that doll was an asshole. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the cast of the Chucky series. Thank you. Thank you very much.
If you guys didn't ask a question and you had a question, we're going to be at our tables for a couple more hours today. So just come up and ask us whatever you didn't ask us here.
Dirk Gently's wasn't technical.